Lawin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
Good morning, everyone. This is MJ from Lawin Media Network, and we are so privileged to be at the Consul General office here in Houston, Texas. And I'm going to be interviewing our new Consul General, Gunther Emil. How are you this morning?
Thank you, MJ, for that kind introduction. So, of course, I'm at your disposal.
Okay.
I appreciate opportunities like this, of course, to engage the communities, especially with Lawin Media Network, and explaining just what the priorities of the Consulate General are.
Yes, and we're so glad and we're so blessed to have this opportunity to meet with you. Actually, we just had a courteous call with you, and we're going to learn more about your goals here in the Houston, or in general in your area here in Texas and other states that you cover, right? So first off, we would just want to know what inspired you to become a diplomat.
Well, I've been with the Department of Foreign Affairs for about 22 years. Actually, it was through my father that I was kind of inspired to join the Foreign Service. He was with the Department of Trade and Industry, working as a commercial counselor. So he had previous postings in Egypt, the United Kingdom, and South Korea. So obviously, I was exposed to this life of being abroad and being with a Foreign Service family, so that at a certain point in my life, I decided that perhaps this is also something that I want to do. So I took a competitive examination to join the DFA, and the rest is history. In those 22 years, I've held various positions in the Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila. In my previous foreign postings have included Stockholm, Sweden, and Washington, D.C. This is my third posting, and I'm very privileged and honored to be here. I'm excited for the opportunities that are before us. I want to follow the footsteps of my predecessor. Of course, you know him, Consul General Santos, and I just want to build on the good work that has preceded me before coming here.
Wow, that's amazing. So there's always somebody in your life that you look up to and that you want to follow when you grow up, right? So in your case, it's your father, and you said you've been in Sweden and Washington, D.C.
That's right.
So what experiences in those places that you can share to us that really excite you more, that you think you've learned much that you can apply here as the new consul here in this area of the United States?
I think there's always good work to be done. That's what I've realized. There's always opportunities to look out for. There's always much to be gained by just interacting with the local community. So that's the type of engagement that I want to do here in Houston, just to build on, again, as I said, build on the good work that the consulate has done before, and also just to help the community in terms of their own objectives, in terms of empowerment and making their presence stronger, more visible, more vibrant in Houston. Our role here in the Consulate General is a facilitative role. Where we can help, that's where we're going to focus on. And I think that the community always has a very strong role to play. I've seen this in my previous postings. Whether it be an embassy or a Consulate General, we're always happy to engage, because if we put our efforts together, the benefits and the dividends are always much greater than what we intended them to be in the first place.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And also, with the new consul, do you intend to have new projects, or what are your goals as a new consul here?
Well, obviously, we want to keep our services in terms of our consular services at a high level of efficiency and effectiveness. That's our primary mandate of providing access to the consulate for those who want to apply for passports, for visas, and for other civil registry documents such as reports of birth or reports of marriage. But other than that, there's also a role for us to play in terms of promoting trade and investments, in terms of economic diplomacy. And that means actively reaching out to chambers such as yourselves, of course, and of course to local companies in Texas and in the other 5 states that we cover, with respect to what are those types of businesses and entrepreneurial undertakings that can be done with the Philippines. As you all know, the relationship between the Philippines and the United States is a very special one. We have an alliance that spans back to 1951 through the Mutual Defense Treaty. However, I think that economic security is just as an important aspect of that cooperative relationship. So that means building connections and making sure that there's strong interest in the Philippines as a trade investment destination. And of course, a strong interest in the United States as and in Texas itself as a provider for technical expertise, as a place where there's strong research and development, strong expertise in terms of healthcare. So we just want to bridge those connections between the two sides.
Wow, that's amazing. So if you don't mind mentioning the other states, so people would know what the other states that you covered. It seems like, let alone the Texas is big.
Yeah.
Texas is huge. But the other states, including with your workforce, how do you manage to actually do all these roles that you just mentioned?
Well, our consulate isn't a big consulate, but we do our best, MJ.
Yes.
That's one thing that I can assure the community and our friends here in Texas or in the other 5 states, that despite our limited personal complement, our we call them outreaches or consular outreach missions will be as regular as we can have them be, depending again on the number of people that we have, and of course for budgetary reasons. But I don't see this limiting the level and the scope and the quality of our engagement. So I'm supposed to be here for the next couple of years, and this is the type of assurance that I want to give to the community, that yes, we will be present. It doesn't matter how many people we have here, we will be going there and shaking hands and meeting new people, definitely. And that's a priority of mine.
Yeah, and we're so glad because you've only been here for how many weeks?
8 weeks today.
Okay, 8 weeks today. So happy second month here in Texas. But you've already been to a lot of activities and events in the Filipino-American community. So having said that, how do you feel about our community here in Houston? Because we're just in Houston, but I know you already probably have felt how our community is. Yeah. So can you share that too?
I think the first impression and the strongest impression that I have is that you have all imbibed that Texan hospitality of just being friendly, being open to reach out to new people who have arrived. Obviously, I did hold a different position, being Consul General of the Philippines here in Houston, and I can just say that ever since that I've arrived, I feel welcome. I've attended quite a number of events already, as you had mentioned, MJ, and I hope, schedule permitting, that I can meet as many members of the community as possible. I think it's important for me to introduce myself. It's important for me to introduce the work of the Consulate General. And it's also important for me to just know who you are, so that moving forward, I know the types of partnerships that we can just work on together. So I know I'm going to attend more events, and I'm glad to do so. So I'm looking forward just to meeting everyone I can.
Wow, you've been doing your best, and we're really impressed. We're actually so impressed that even with that short period of time, you already are known to the Filipino-American community. And I think your visibility actually gives also confidence for the Filipinos here, right? I feel that way because, wow, we know that our content is available. You're here to help us. You're willing to collaborate with all these organizations, and you have plans to make our community stronger. So we're so blessed to have you. And I think I want to know what do you hope to achieve at the end of your term, like at the end of your stay here, and how many years you think?
Well,
that you've been
I
here?
guess you're familiar, but in the Philippine Foreign Service, we are posted for anywhere between, let's say, 1 year to 6 years. Generally, it's 6 years. So, without any changes in my time here, I'm looking forward to the next 6 years in Houston. That pretty much gives me a lot of time just to do the work that I plan to do in cooperation with everyone.
Yes.
So what are my plans? I know there are a lot of community organizations here, and this has been told to me. I've seen it firsthand. And I think each community organization brings to the table a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge that spans many years. They're very good at just building the resources for their philanthropic activities, whether here in Houston or back in the Philippines. It's a personal dream of the consulate, and it's a personal dream of mine for us just to perhaps how can we all strengthen this partnership between the individual organizations so that as a collective we have a stronger voice. So God willing, and with the friendships that I will build and what the Consulate General will build with the community, perhaps we can just have separate organizations come together and just decide that we want to work on these programs and projects together. That's one aspect that I want to build upon. Second, of course, and I mentioned this earlier, economic diplomacy in terms of just promoting what the Philippines has to offer economically. This has been our long-standing priority of our government and, of course, of the administration of President Marcos. And I see that this will not change in the years to come. This means about seeing what's possible in terms of energy security, whether this be renewable, traditional oil and gas, or even nuclear energy. It also means building connections on issues such as food security. As we know, the Philippines is a country of about 115 million and growing. So we're always thinking, what can we do to help agriculture back home if you have to feed so many mouths? Healthcare is also continuing priority, how we can help the growing diaspora of healthcare workers here in Texas. I've learned that there are so many Filipino nurses who are well established in medical institutions here in Texas. How can we connect with them to make sure that their expertise is also redounds to the Philippines? So that's pretty much it. I mean, and also cultural diplomacy. How do we go about promoting what the Philippines has to offer from a cultural perspective, whether this be our song, our dance, and our culinary prowess. I know that the community does a lot already, but we're always trying to figure out how can we share what the Philippines has to offer with the local Texans, for them to know more about the Philippines, who the Filipino is, and why we're important in this part of the world. So I know it's a lot, MJ, but you can count on us as willing day partners in this process of just pushing forward and making sure that we know that awareness of the Philippines and who we are as a Filipino people it increases in Texas.
Wow, I mean that's so exciting, and we're very glad and we're so willing to collaborate with you because it is also in line with our mission and vision. Lawin Media Network, we're here to unite our community. We're here to promote the voice of the Filipino American community, and having heard you say that and express your goals and your dreams about this our good community, I mean, we're so excited because you're right, we are a big force.
Yeah.
We are a big force here in the United States, not just, in the whole United States. You can see a lot of Filipinos, Filipino Americans. So we are so excited because we believe that you will be able to achieve, if not all, it's a big dream, right?
Yeah,
but
of course.
every progress is progress, and we're getting closer to that. Having someone like you that is willing to do this for us, we're grateful and we're so glad. Now, I know it's to inspire our viewers or whoever's going to see this. What words of advice can you give to people in our country or anybody who's listening who want to go into, diplomacy or being part of the government of the Philippines and serving people all over, Filipino American communities all over the world? Can you just, give them words of advice?
This is something that it's a bit cliche, but it has been said countless times and for many, many years that we call ourselves diplomats because we are employed by the Department of Foreign Affairs. But every Filipino has the capacity and the potential to be a diplomat in of her or himself.
Yes.
Say for example, you MJ, the promotional work that you do here in Texas, you speak about the Philippines. You organize events that promote the Philippines. Lawin Media Network covers stories about the Philippines. So in fact, what you do is already diplomacy
in itself.
Yeah. So we just do it unofficially. We just do it in an official manner. Yes. But everyone, as long as you want to promote the Philippines, you have your heart in it, and you love doing what you're doing. You engage people. You have conversations about who we are as a people. For me, you're a diplomat because that's what we do. That's what we do. But if you want to join officially, then there's a process for it. Like any other job, you have to take a test, you have to take an interview, then you become a foreign service officer. But I think that with our huge diaspora abroad, we have about 10 million and counting, about 10% of the physical population of the Philippines who are abroad, not just in the United States, but obviously in regions such as the Middle East. I think every single Filipino who is abroad is a diplomat because you bring yourself, your language, your culture, the way you look, the way you act. That in and of itself is already diplomacy for me. So if you're already doing that, we're not much different than you. We're on the same page.
Wow, that's great to know. So, and yes, we gotta get to the world as a collective Filipinos all over the world, right? And we have to keep the name, we have to keep our culture, we have to keep our identity. And for the most part, especially here in the United States, we know that we are being looked up to. We are great workers in every institution, in every hospital, in every company that you see.
That's true.
They always hear about Filipinos being hard workers, being kind people, and we're here to promote that. And we're glad that you had the chance for us to hear from you what your goals are for our new congen as being the new Consul General here in Houston, Texas. And we're so blessed, and we appreciate every minute that you spent with us. So just last words of advice to our viewers that are watching right now, not just for those who wanted to be a diplomat, because we are all a diplomat, right? We're all diplomats, according to your terms, and we're glad to know that. And we just have to carry that positive image of the Filipino Americans abroad. So what are your...
Well, as Consul General, I just want to assure the viewers of this show that the consulate's doors remain open from whoever wants to just reach out for any issue underneath the sun. If it means about improving our consular services, reach out. If it means that you have a great idea about promoting trade and investments, reach out. If it means you have a great idea about just promoting culture, like for example, if there is a cultural show on dance or song, reach out. I am ready just to be a consistent and reliable partner with you all. I want to meet as many people that I can from the community. That's it. I mean, just to strengthen partnerships and connections and work on those issues that we all agree upon.
Yes.
And all of those issues that we have a mutual interest in promoting. So that's pretty much it. You have a friend in the consulate.
Thank you so much, Consul General Gunther Emil Sales. And again, thank you for watching us today. And watch out for more exposure of our new Consul General Gunther Emil Sales. Thank you and God bless.